Can you hear me?
Picking you up loud and clear.
Testing 1, 2. Is Mooma here? Sound check. Tiki tiki ka ka ka.
Dire team ban.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves Ventus Pro versus BzK Gaming. No plan B. It is MSI Beatit the group stages, the very first game. Hopefully, we have ourselves what promises to be an explosive game. I'm your host Saint D from EAE Gaming, and I'm joined by Insanity and Mooma.
What's up, y'all?
Good vibes. Looks like we're getting off to the usual start going into the bans. Yo man, looks like we're getting the usual bans under the way. Razor being banned out, Doom being banned out from Ventus Pro, and Lycan being banned out. Nobody wants to deal with Lycan, especially when he's on the Dire, and Doom is one of those heroes who essentially, along with Razor in different respects, Doom nullifies a hero in teamfight engagements, or even when you're trying to push, pretty much renders one of your heroes nullified. And then Razor, on the other hand, the anti-carry, essentially renders your damage dealer kind of useless.
Yeah, those are pretty standard bans. I mean, like we said, we saw that Razor was the #1 picked hero at this latest TI.
Yeah.
And that is for a reason. He is very strong, very tanky. Both those heroes extremely tanky heroes, and you don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
Radiant team pick.
And we've got the Invoker being banned out as well. So now we've got now we're getting essentially all your tier 1 heroes all in a row now. We've got the Brewmaster coming out from Ventus Pro, one of the strongest teamfight controllers, and then the immediate response is the Skyreth Mage and the Faceless Void. Now Skyreth Mage is one of those tier 1s. If you look at the stats coming out from the past international, we've got Skyreth Mage being the second most picked hero, and then Faceless Void is also among those top 5.
Yeah, you can see by this draft, it's straight away a TI reminiscence draft. I mean, these are all your big picks in the last TI.
Yeah.
And understandably so. I mean, we've talked about this before. Faceless Void, now you see him going off lane, you see him possibly going in mid. He can still play that hard K role. He's actually a very versatile hero, which before nobody really thought to do, but ever since the last meta out, he is just that versatile.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at both lineups right now, and from Ventus Pro and BzK, we've essentially got what is essentially a team fighting lineup, because you got Brewmaster for epic control in terms of the team fights, and then obviously he's one of the stronger melee solo mid laners. And then you look at the Tidehunter, just because he's got his Ravage, and on the off lane, since the Anchor Smash buff, he's obviously a little bit more survivable on that lane, and Kraken Shell is pretty strong when you're sitting there solo with essentially the world against you.
Little interesting point there. In the last game we cast of Ventus Pro, we saw them going up against SRS, and they were going up against Skyreth, and they actually picked up the Weaver.
Yeah.
This time this is Skyreth and decided to ban the Weaver, which we saw what a Skyreth could do to a Weaver. So in my mind, good ban. You don't want it against you, you know.
Indeed. And coming out from Ventus Pro, they also ban out the Viper, possibly a signal of any of the other heroes they might want to pick up. But then again, Viper is one of those heroes you don't want to be dealing against the Viper when you've got a Brewmaster sitting in mid. And from BzK Gaming, we've got the Shadow Shaman and the Nature's Prophet being banned out. Now I find those particular bans very interesting, because I think from the get-go, Ventus Pro have kind of let it known to BzK Gaming that they're going for team fights. But instead, BzK Gaming decide to ban out the stronger pushers in the game.
Man, here's the thing though, with those two, you have insane pushing power. You have your Tidehunter who can be used to disengage, and your Brewmaster who just sits and tanks everything. So the push is always real, and it's always a strategy to be worried about, So banning them out, I think they're just saying, listen, we don't want to deal with this, We don't want to deal with any kind of push strat.
I certainly agree with the Shadow Shaman ban, because Shadow Shaman's one of those heroes who actually does very well regardless of the lineup you have. If you're going for push, he's obviously an amazing pusher, but even in team fights, he's pretty potent. With Serpent Wards, he's got two paths of control with his Hex and his Shackles. But the Prophet pickup, the thing is, I don't think Ventus Pro would have gone for a Prophet, because they've got Tidehunter on the off lane, they've got Brewmaster on the mid lane, and obviously they now need their one position hero. But in any case, Ventus Pro picking up the Mirana. This could easily be a support Mirana. Now, I haven't actually spoken about the Death Prophet pickup. The Death Prophet pickup coming up from BzK Gaming. That is a pretty good pickup in terms of how it synergizes with the Faceless Void and the Skyreth Mage. And then on top of that, you obviously have access to push now with the Death Prophet.
Yeah, they've got also a lot of silence, a lot of disable. I mean, there's 2 silences there, plus they've got a Cronus. They can actually keep their Tidehunter and Brewmaster out of the fight. And not to mention, it's a lot of burst damage. And if they let their Faceless Void come in, he's going to be late game. He's going to be able to, even if they have parts in that, just do what he wants,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of early game burst damage that I'm seeing on BzK's side right now. And also a lot of silence in that to stop the Brewmaster ulti and
Yeah, no, there's a lot of control coming out from BzK Gaming. I mean, you've got Ancient Seals, and then in terms of your laning duo, you've got Rubik and Skyreth, who are going to be making your life a nightmare if you're the Tidehunter going up against them. And then Ventus Pro answering with a Lich pickup after they've seen the Rubik. Now, Lich is a very strong support, but I think the biggest problem whenever you see Lich being picked up, the biggest problem is he doesn't necessarily do well in tri-lane setups. So you possibly could see Ventus Pro going for dual lanes.
Or even, Lich or Tidehunter can actually potentially solo lane.
Oh, so you reckon it could possibly be a support Tidehunter?
I actually think so. I would rate Tidehunter as a better support than a Lich, to be honest, in lane.
I guess, but I highly doubt.
Yeah, more than likely it'll be a solo off lane Tidehunter.
Yeah, and we get the Sand King
These guys
and
are
the Juggernaut.
Big team fight.
It's gonna be real. Now, I look at what we have here. We have 2 very potent team fighting lineups. Now you look at Ventus Pro. Ventus Pro might actually meet up with the problem where they realize they don't have. I mean, they have some burst damage, but when as the game carries on, right now it looks like Mirana is essentially their only access to right click damage as it stands. And then you look over at BzK. BzK has gone for a proper tricore lineup, whereas they have the Juggernaut, they have the Death Prophet, and they have the Faceless Void. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ventus Pro deals with this, but they definitely wouldn't want this game to go any later than it's supposed to.
Yeah, the one negative about BzK's game is early game they have a very squishy lineup. I mean, a good SK ulti or a good Tidehunter Ravage will absolutely destroy that team just because they're not tanky at all. I mean, yes, you've got Disengage with your Juggernaut spin and you've got your Leap Away with the Void, but all in all, that's definitely not a tanky team early game. Late game, that changes completely. With your DP pick up a Heart or a Bloodstone, and late game it changes. So I definitely think Ventus Pro needs to get off on this game quick. They need to get in those early kills, get those early team fights and push towers down. I agree, you don't want to take it too long against BzK's lineup.
Yeah. In any event, let's introduce the lineups before we get any action underway. over on Ventus Pro, over on the Dire side, we've got Kronos playing up the solo mid Brewmaster. It looks like it's actually going to be a dual lane with the Lich. I kind of agree with that. Flaming Sheep on the Lich. Over on the safe lane, we've got Grime on the Marana. We've got Zeke playing up the Sand King, and we've got Stabesy playing up on the Tidehunter.
Okay, and on the side of BzK, we have Calamity on the Void. He's going solo offlane that we talked about. We have Vivid on the Juggernaut. He's being supported by Vice on the Rubik and by Hook2 on the Skyrath. And then we've got DPB playing by Scrat on the mid.
Scratch.
Scrat.
Okay, so looking at both teams, one team obviously has the onus is on them to get this game very early into an early advantage, so to speak.
Yeah, Ventus have to do, I think personally, they have to do something. Not to take away from late game, they still have that potential. They're still a very strong late game if they land a good team fight. But when things like pipe and that start coming up, and that it drastically decreases your ability to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Okay, now, indeed, they actually have to do things very early. But what's worrying me about their lineup is that they've decided to go for the Lich pickup, and the thing is with the Lich pickup, your early game in terms of your laning phase may be a little bit weaker in terms of what it offers in respect of kill potential. I mean, you look over on BzK, they've got a Skyrath mage and a Rubik. That together is a pretty potent roaming duo.
Yeah. Also, you see this Juggernaut pick up a lot more farm in general on his side than the Kitty is on her side.
Yeah.
Don't know why that's happening. Of course I expect the Juggernaut to get a lot of farm, but the Kitty shouldn't be battling too much with farm either, just against the Void.
I'd put it down to mechanics. It's down to mechanics, because the thing is, Grime's actually not. He's only up against Calamity on the Faceless Void, and that's not enough to. Actually, it's not like Calamity is giving any pressure in any event.
Yeah. Flaming Sheep should be doing some pressuring on Calamity just to keep him, to make sure he gets no farm, chase him out of experience range if need be. This is exactly what he's doing now.
Yeah, once like I said, man, I actually even wonder if it would have been even better had BzK gone into the offensive trialing, because if they had gone into an offensive trialing, because whenever you have a Sand King in a game, you're kind of in a tough spot, because a Sand King is kind of a greedy pickup in terms of supports, because if you want him to get your early blink dagger, he's obviously going to be going into the jungle trying to get some farm up, make sure that he actually gets his blink dagger up very early. So had they committed an offensive tri lane, it may have been amazing in there. Ooh, arrow just misses him out. Had that arrow gotten him though, since Zeke was already in the lane, they may have been a follow-up burst strike, and Calamity might have found himself in trouble. But I mean, you look at his levels right now. He's sitting at level 4 with 2 levels in backtrack, so it's not like he would have been the easiest target.
I don't know if you saw what happened bottom here. Basically, a ward was placed to block this, to stop Tidehunter. And as Tidehunter placed his sentry ward, that one died. This, like, literally the exact same time he placed the other one died.
Looks like we've got Arcane Bolt going out over Stabes, but it's probably just to dissuade him from doing anything.
And they
do they spot out the ward? Yes, they spot the ward, and they've blocked as well. So Stabes isn't gonna get off to any blocking, to any stacking shenanigans. So he's gonna have to earn his blink dagger the hard way. That's pretty good coming out from BzK, because they know Ventus has to own the early game, and if they don't own the early game, going into the mid game, BzK kind of has the edge.
Yeah, that was good play by BzK, but also just unlucky by Ventus that the ward just died, you know.
Yeah. But over on the mid lane, this matchup is pretty interesting. Kronos is actually beating out Scrat by quite a margin. I mean, he's sitting at 28 for 5 versus Scrat, who's only at 20 for 1.
I must admit though, Kronos just being the naturally tanky hero it does actually make a good battle for a DP.
Yeah.
Or Brew being the naturally tanky hero he is. It is actually quite a nice counter for, not necessarily counter, but it does handle decently well, because especially with Bottle, she's just not doing that much damage to him because he's so tanky. But he can sit there and withstand a few of her blasts, you know.
Yeah, the big thing is Brewmaster is one of those heroes who actually, as a melee hero, he can actually stand toe to toe with some of the best ranged solo mids.
We see BzK coming in here to try and do something, but he was spotted out by this ward over here.
Yep.
So he was. They did see him and they did ping him out.
They actually just smoked now. They actually just smoked. They're looking to do something right now. And the thing is, Kronos has a split. So if Scrat actually moves in a little bit more aggressively, he may be a sad DP. But now the jig is up.
Yeah, like I said, they actually saw him already when he was near Rosh over there with this ward. But so I think Scrat was a bit cautious and knew to stay back.
Kronos going in deep. What is he doing? Oh, we've got the arcane bolt.
Well, he did force out a TP out of that. So.
Yeah, he forced out a TP, and it looks like Stabes getting caught by telekinesis. He may just lose his life as a fake ball catches him. There goes the Blade Fury. Stabes is in no man's land right now. He puts out an anchor smash, but will it be enough to survive? And even commit a chronosphere. And just like that, Calamity gets the first blood. The worst hero you want on the opposing side to be getting the first blood.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. That was some major blocking by those creeps. They literally kept him from going anywhere.
He had nowhere to go.
Creeps, well played, guys.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go.
Those creeps on my team, bro.
They were the 6th player, man. They were the 6th player. Oh, we've got a concussive shot going out onto BzK, but BzK should be fine under the guise of his tower. But yeah, you look over at Grime. Grime is he's farming relatively well, but the thing is he's not farming as much as Vivid is over on the Juggernaut, and you have to consider that Vivid is dealing up against possibly an offlaner that could give off more pressure than the Faceless Void could in the early stages of the game. But obviously that's changed since now Void has his Chronosphere.
Yeah, Void did a good job in that lane. I mean, he did what he needed to do. He just needed to get that level, and that's exactly what this new meta is about Void. He literally just he waits until he gets level 6 and then he just starts roaming with his Chronosphere. That is why you see him being picked up actually quite a bit in this off lane.
So much damage going
tower, though.
Yeah, that tower's
big time.
Is it in deny range? It's a deny range. Will they get off the deny?
Yes, it is.
Will they get the deny? They should get the deny. That's a little tragic if they get the deny, considering how much time they spent. Ooh, he's baiting out. He's baiting it out. Calamity should be able to. Oh, we've got an arrow catching Calamity.
Ooh, that was good. That was a good play.
And
That was a brilliant play.
there's a Chronosphere catching both Grime and Flaming Sheep, but will it be enough to secure anything? Oh, we've got the Ancient Seal going out onto Grime. Grime is in no man's land right now. He may fall, but he's got some Frost Armor onto him. He'll make it out alive.
Frost Armor doing the work.
Doing much work, and they get a tower for their troubles.
Radiant's
I
middle
think
tower
I think Void was being a little bit too hesitant in trying to take that shot. I think he should have either committed or left the tower because now they lost the tower and Skyrath had to TP in there.
I saw his plan. His plan was he wants a kill on this Mirana when she comes
Yeah.
into tower range, and he's going to Chronos her.
Yeah.
I don't think he planned on getting hit with that arrow, and that kind of just changed the whole pace because that allowed Mirana to just say, "Okay, fine, I'm going to take this tower. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for leaving it." You know.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I think he should have gone for the safer choice, and the safer choice would have been to deny the tower, at the very least choke out how much gold Ventus Pro can get out from the first tower falling down. But then again, we go for the plays, man. We go for the plays.
Interesting to note, the highest net worth right now is Chronos. He's already got his blink up. He's got a bottled haste. That is scary on a Brewmaster when
That
the
is very
whole team's
scary.
got the ultis up.
And the thing is, you have to
Well,
also
Sand King
note,
almost has
Sa-
his thing.
yeah, Sand King almost has his. Zeke on the Sand King, he pretty
Well,
much
that's
has it now. And then the only blink dagger they're waiting on is for Steabus. We've got the Crypt Swarm going out onto Kronos, but he's hasted, so he's in no harm whatsoever. But yeah, we've almost got the third blink dagger coming out, and this is going to be the key. We've got a clap going out. There goes the Ancient Seal, the Silence. There goes the Chain Frost, actually catching a few. Kronos is going to lose his life though, as the Chronosphere is actually committed. Ooh, Kronos was being overzealous there. He literally blinked in and clapped. The clap actually didn't catch anyone, but there was 5 people there. There was 5 heroes there. So was it worth it? And he buys back.
King's in the bush. He's going to ulti.
There goes the epicenter, catching 2. Calamity falls down to the Ravage. There goes the Blade Fury coming out from the Juggernaut, and even a split being committed. Vivid may be in trouble. If Vivid gets caught right now, there goes the Power Strike catching Vivid. Vivid's gonna fall, and the arrow would have caught him, but Tidehunter secured the kill before that was necessary.
under attack.
Wild play coming out from Ventus. They capitalized. They knew. And that's actually down to Kronos. Kronos actually, his buyback was actually pretty key in that engagement. But the big thing is,
Yeah, no, that was well played to buy back TPN, and you know they had everybody just waiting
Yeah.
there in the line. I think the Stabbers.
there goes the telekinesis onto Kronos. Tidehunter loses his life. Ooh, we've got silenced up Zeke on the Sand King. He gets time locked by Calamity, and a Crypt Storm takes him down. So they lose 2. There goes your Omni Slash and the Blade Fury over onto Kronos, and Kronos loses his life. And that is called overcommitment coming out from Ventus. They took the tower. They should have reset and left it at that. But instead, Vivid, instead, BzK noted that they were willing to overcommit, and they punished them heavily. And they're probably going to get this tower now.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah,
is under
they
attack.
definitely should have backed off there. I mean,
Yeah.
They had no ultis up. They had nothing really available to them.
Yeah.
I definitely think they should have got out while they had that advantage.
Yeah, the big thing about Ventus Pro's lineup is that they rely heavily on these high cooldown spells. You have to look that there's a Ravage, the Epicenter, and the Primal Split. So once those spells aren't up, it's actually a problem, because if BzK decides to engage on you, they actually have the upper hand.
Yeah, I agree that they had that tower, and I think they kind of hoped that it was only going to be 1 or 2, and next
Yeah.
thing the whole of BzK was there. So it was also well played on BzK's side to have everybody there ready and knowing that when the engagement does come, they can literally just jump in. Moonlight Shadow is on. They've got a couple of ultis up, and they do pop Moonlight Shadow.
Dire's bottom tower
Ooh.
is
7
Split's
seconds
ready now.
until Ravage is
Ravage
in.
is ready, yeah.
We're gonna have a Power Strike coming out, probably. Oh, Vivid is in no man's land. Oh, there goes the Power Strike catching Vivid. There goes the Gush. The arrow just misses as he Blade Furies out. There goes the Silence catching all 5. There goes the Crypt Swarm also catching 5. There goes the Ravage. The Exorcism's being procced. The Chain Frost also goes out. And we lose both the Juggernaut and the Death Prophet. The Chain Frost dealing so much damage to the Skywrath Mage right now. There goes the Fate Ball. Calamity falls to the Brewmaster, and Vise maybe next as an arrow catches him. That's 4 for 1 going the way of Ventus, bro.
So well played by Ventus, right?
So
there.
much patience, so much patience coming out from them, because the thing is they could have easily engaged off in this area, but they waited to see if any of the heroes coming out from BzK would split off, and they did.
And it paid off for them. I mean, they took that is definitely the momentum that they need to keep in this game, you know. I still think they need a little more, but that is definitely the way you want to take team fights.
Oh, we've got an arrow. Arrow doesn't catch anyone, and they need to probably get back because their cooldowns are pretty high. We've got a Gush going out onto Vivid. Ooh, and he has his Omni Slash. He has an Omni Slash. There goes the Omni Slash onto Stabes, and the Power Strike catching to Strat may fall. There goes the Ancient Seal going out onto Kronos, and a Mystic Flare, but it's not enough to take him down. They've lost 2 already coming out from BzK. Vivid may lose his life. There goes the Power Strike, and the arrow catches him. A clap as well, and he falls down to the Miranda Starfall. And that's a 3 for 1 engagement right now. And are they still poised to take more? Hookdu's in another world of trouble, probably. There goes the clap, and he falls to the Miranda as well. Calamity's still in there. Calamity's not out. What is he doing there? He'll probably lose his life as well. There goes the Blink block. Oh, we've got some few right clicks, and the Burrow Strike catches him. That was
again, and they did that with no ultis.
So much patience.
They have up.
They played that team fight very well. They knew exactly how to take that team fight, and with none of their ultis, nonetheless. And in
I think this is,
yep.
You know, BzK were actually counting on, hey, they don't have ultis, let's go in now.
Yeah.
I don't expect they expected them to all turn around and be like, because it looked like they were backing off when in fact they were more baiting. So I think BzK took the bait, and they did not expect them to have that much burst damage available to them.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
And
early into the game, the burst damage is pretty high from Ventus Pro right now.
But that's exactly what I talked about right at the beginning of this game, is that we know that BzK's team early game is very squishy, you know.
Yeah.
Late game it changes, but early game they're extremely squishy. And these last 2 team fights have just shown how squishy this lineup is, and how much damage they actually, or how much they get smashed in these team fights because of how squishy they are.
Okay, here's another key item that just came out for Ventus Pro. On the support Lich, they now have a mechanism. We're sub 20 minutes in, and your support, essentially the 5 hero has his mech. So it signals to me that they will probably be going even more aggressively now that they have an extra line of sustainability. Scrat may be in a world of trouble. There goes the Blink Power Strike. There goes the clap. Scrat is definitely gonna fall. There goes a Mystic Fall. Catches 3, and the Chronosphere is committed. But who can they take down? There goes the Fate Bolt. There goes there goes Juggernaut's ulti as well. Looks like Vise will fall as the clap catches him in the mid of a split. Oh, and it's a double kill for the Lich.
How tanky is this team though?
It's pretty tanky early game. There goes your concussive shot onto Grime and an Ancient Seal. Goodness.
I mean, they expended everything there, and they expended almost all their ultis and only got 1 kill off it, you know?
Yeah, it's
tanky team.
It's looking a little bit dicey coming out for. It's looking actually not even a little bit. It's looking pretty dicey for BzK Gaming, because you look at the gold graph. The gold graph is sitting at 7.5 in favor of Ventus, and then the XP graph is sitting at a staggering 10k in favor of Ventus Pro. So if there's there's no reason whatsoever for Ventus to slow down the momentum, because they have all the tools necessary. They've got their 3 blink daggers up, and Mirana's now getting to a point where she's going to be dealing proper right click damage. So they're getting to a point where it doesn't matter how the late game looks for BzK Gaming. There's just too much of a lead going out.
Yeah, this is definitely looking in favor, but this is exactly what we said they need to do. In this early game, as soon as they get the 6s, they need to take these team fights. They won 2 very convincingly, and now they've got this momentum flowing. They mustn't sit back and rest on their laurels right now. I mean, they shouldn't be farming. They should be continuously pushing this. I think they're just waiting for all the ultis to be up again, and then they should go right back into the fray of things.
Brewmaster has his ulti stick now.
Oh,
It's coming in on the career.
that's now it's even more of a problem now. We've got the
Meta style. Mirana. On the way.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. I mean, Mirana's sitting there with the Manta, and here's another cool thing. With Mirana going for the Manta build, this lineup was all about. The thing is, before this Manta style came out, this lineup was all about the team fight. But now Mirana going into the Manta style, it essentially means they have a little bit more for their push. Looks like
Also never ever underestimate Mirana's potential to carry. She is a very hard carry. I mean, she leaps in, she gives all that bonus attack speed and bonus movement speed. She's got escape. She can position herself so nicely. She actually does a lot of damage.
We've got pings coming out onto the Roche. We had a smoke movement coming out from BzK, and it may amount to nothing. Looks like they've spotted out Vise. Ooh, is he going to go in for the chrono? There he goes for a chronosphere, catches 2. We've got the exorcism. There goes a ravage, catching all 5. The chain frost follow up. There we've got an omni slash. Stabes may just lose his life, but they're just losing bodies left, right, and center. We've got the Brewmaster down, the Tide Hunter's down. There goes the burst strike catching Vivid. Exorcism doing so much damage. The arrow catches Vivid. Vivid might lose his life. There goes the Crypt Storm going out onto Grime. Grime may lose his life as well as he goes back into the exorcism. It's a 2-for-2
What madness was that?
It was a 2-for-2 engagement, and that actually favored BzK Gaming. Oh, burst strike going out onto Vise, and he loses his life as well. Ventus, Zeke also going to TP out. We've got a Blade Fury. So the question is, who came out on top in that engagement? Oh, we've got an Ancient Seal
Ventus
going
back.
out onto.
But
But he TP'd out. But he TP'd out.
Ventus got the 3 kills.
Yeah,
it
it was a 3-2-2.
And Grime being the hard carry of, or essentially with Brewmaster, but Grime being that hard carry on Mirana, he also managed to secure a kill there at the end with that arrow. I definitely give the advantage there to Ventus Pro, considering that, yes, Jugger survived, but you had your Void dying there early, but very well played again by Ventus. I mean, they got the jump on them. Zeke, last time against SRS, I put him as MVP again. He blinked out just in time to avoid the chrono, and then blinked.
Looks like we've got a Burrow Strike going on onto Hooktu. Hooktu's definitely going to lose his life. Calamity being used up. What is the plan? Oh, there goes the Moonlight Shadow, and it disjoints the Omni Slash from Vivid. We've got a Telekinesis going out onto Zeke. Oh, looks like Calamity may lose his life. Scrat is definitely going to lose his life. Zeke, there goes the Sentry being put out, but Visor's going to lose his life. There goes the Blade Fury. Oh, the Burrow Strike saving Zeke's life, but he does fall. But Vivid's going to lose his life for his troubles.
MVP Zeke.
Zeke putting in so much work on that Sand King, man. Putting in so much work. Once again, the thing is, BzK had the jump on them right there, but even then their response was not to actually they didn't panic. I mean, the moment the Omni Slash came out from the Juggernaut, the Moonlight Shadow was procced, so that essentially means one of your big ultis being wasted for nothing.
Yeah, that was very well played again by Ventus. They've got these team fights really down to a cinch. It's not that BzK are playing bad by any means.
Yeah,
I think it's literally tiny little differences, and it's just proving in the favor of Ventus Pro. BzK right now, what I think they need to do is they just need to try and get as much farm, and they need to steal it from wherever they can, and hope that this game carries on going late game, but without giving away team fights like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there they lost 4-4, it was nearly a full team wipe. Calamity managed to jump out, and he had next to no HP. Otherwise, it would have been a full team wipe.
Yeah. Grime may just be in
Also,
trouble.
let's make notice of this Kronos on this Brewmaster. How much work is he doing?
He's also
Wow.
doing pretty much
I mean-
work. See, the thing is, actually, all three of the blinking guys, Kronos on the Brewmaster, Stabes over on the Tidehunter, and obviously what right now seems to be the MVP, Zeke on the Sand King. All three of those blinkers know exactly when to go into BzK's face, and I think that's the big thing with Ventus Pro's lineup right now, because they have their three blinks. They have so many avenues of initiation and counter initiation that it's proving difficult for BzK to answer them.
Yeah. And this is, like I said, this is a momentum carrying forward. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got all the
Oh, we've got a
assets
smoke
again. They took
movement.
another team fight.
There goes the Omni Slash over onto Stabes. There goes the split. A full-on Mystic Flare catching the Tidehunter, but he's got the Aegis. There goes an Epicenter catching two. There goes a Ravage capitalizing. Hookdu may fall. There goes the Chain Frost catching one. And just like that, they've lost 4. They may lose Calamity. Calamity may just lose his life. He doesn't have the time walk. There goes the Power Strike catching Calamity, and it's a 5-man wipe in favor of Ventus.
It's a team wipe!
It's a 5-man wipe, dude. 5-man wipe going in the favor of Ventus Pro, and they've got these team fights down to a science. And this was BzK moving in aggressively on them, but they answered it in stride, man.
Has fallen.
But have you noticed what they're doing so well is they're so good at baiting out these team fights.
Pretty much.
Again, they sent in the Tidehunter who had, he wasn't
Had the
afraid to
Aegis.
die. No,
He's
he
got a
had
Power
the
Strike
Aegis.
going out onto Hookdu. There goes the Telekinesis catching Kronos. Vice will probably lose his life. Hookdu will follow as he's taken by the Lich. And 2 more kills secured. This will probably be the tier 3, and possibly at the very least either a ranged or a melee Rax.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Ooh, Vivid's trying to be aggressive. There goes the Power Strike catching Vivid. Vivid may just lose his life. He Blade Furies out. Oh, and they take the tier 3.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Goodness.
Dire's middle tower
It's-
is under
But they
attack.
forced out 4 buybacks there.
Yeah.
And two of them I think were actually diebacks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Rubik fell. The Rubik fell.
I
The
could be wrong,
Skywrath
but
Mage
I
fell.
thought I saw, or did they just respawn and I was just not watching?
I think some of them just respawned. But yeah. Right now, Ventus Pro doesn't have any reason to stop the momentum. Their death ball is essentially it's proving so powerful up against BzK's lineup right now, because BzK doesn't actually have disengage. I think their lineup would have done well with either possibly a Centaur Warrunner, because the thing is, the moment Ventus gets in your face, there's nothing you can do. Looks
Yeah,
like we've got a
and
Chronosphere
if you
catching Grime. There goes a full-on Mystic Flare. Grime almost falling, and he does fall. There goes the Epicenter. Oh, we've got Vivid taking the Sand King out with his
Radiant's bottom
Omni
barracks
Slash.
are under attack.
I
Not
think
that.
Ventus being a little bit too cocky there, but well spotted by BzK to pick them out.
Yeah.
I think they just got a little bit too cocky. I was about to say before that fight, or even still after that fight, if you look at the graphs, I mean, they're both in excess of 20k in
Oh,
favor
goodness.
of Ventus.
20k
That's a
gold,
steep
20k
hill
XP.
to climb.
Oh yeah, it's a very steep hill to climb. The thing is, this lineup doesn't necessarily play the best coming out from in terms of catch up. They don't play the best catch up Dota, especially considering that their hard farmer was the Juggernaut.
Yeah, and he's looks like he's just got his eggs really in item to note. That's he needs a lot of farming. He's going to need a lot more items to be doing that hard carry
Yeah.
that he needs to.
Okay.
Calamity also, he's battling. I mean, if you look at the level difference here for a solo offlane, he's only level 11. You know.
Oh, he's
He's really
sitting.
battling.
He's sitting third from the bottom. That's actually pretty. That's actually pretty bad for BzK, because it essentially means obviously he's nowhere near close to his level 3 chronosphere, and they need it because obviously that's the let's see, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one with the
Ooh, we got a smoke up
Yep.
here.
oh, we've got a power strike catching fires and a clap, and he's down.
Melt. Absolute melt fest.
Oh, arrow might catch Calamity. The arrow catches. Hashtag calculated. Oh, there goes a Ravage. Only catching Calamity, but it'll be enough to secure a kill. And Kronos is used up as a Mystic Flare hits him, so he didn't catch any of that damage. And just like that, they'll probably take down the mid. They could actually go into
Arrow.
that arrow was next level, man. Next level.
That arrow. Wow.
Yeah, that
Interesting to note that BzK have only taken mid tower. That's the only tower they've got. So they've actually, they're losing quite a bit in this tower war.
yeah.
And I don't know. Okay, well we have respawns now. I was thinking they can still push, considering the only ulti they spent there was Ravage.
Yeah, they'll probably want to keep pressing it because the problem is BzK can't really defend because they don't have disengage. They don't have the best disengage. I mean, the moment these guys blink into you, you've got the Ravage going out, you've got the Clap Split going out, and there's an Epicenter being followed up. Once that has gone down, the only thing you can do is throw out a Chronosphere and maybe the Exorcism. That's not necessarily disengaged because you're already losing half. You've probably already lost 3/4 of your life when that happens.
Look at the items up on Grime on that kitty. It's getting scary. Like I said, people often underestimate the carry potential of Kitty. I mean, she is hardcore.
Ooh,
if
and
she
she's
gets
got
the
a
right
Mjolnir
items
right
in.
now. She's got a Mjolnir, so she's dealing a considerable amount of damage.
The deeps are real.
No, the deeps are very real. The deeps are
I'm
very
in shock.
real.
That arrow, what an arrow. It's one of those blind arrows that you just hope to hit, and when it does hit,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, man. And then you just claim you planned it all from the beginning, bro.
I'm sure he planned it. We've got an arrow going on. It catches Vivid. There we've got the anchor smash, but Vivid is gonna lose his life to the Marana. Oh,
Yo,
goodness.
I'm starting to debate who's MVP of this game. Is it Zeke or is it
Ah,
Brown?
it's still Zeke, man. Okay, fair enough. The
Yeah,
arrows are there. The arrows are real, and they're next level. But yeah, now they can slow siege without worry of reprisal coming out from BzK, because BzK doesn't have any good farming territory, so they can't get farm up onto the Juggernaut. They can't get farm up onto the Faceless Void. It's just a problem. And now we've got an AC coming out from the Brewmaster. So try killing Kronos and
Has fallen.
Stabes over on the Tidehunter. Try killing them now.
Top tower is under attack.
Dude, it's at a point right now where Flaming Sheep is even farming.
Yeah.
They know that they can afford to do that. I don't think they should. I don't think it's the wisest thing to do. But they mustn't get too cocky. They mustn't forget that, whenever there's a Void and Juggernaut in the game, those guys turn games around. It does look like Juggernaut is going for a BKB rather
Yep.
more damage. What do you think about this item?
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand it, because you look over on Ventus's lineup. There's so much magic damage coming out, and I mean and I think the biggest reason why he's going for the BKB as opposed to damage, it looks like we've got smoke coming out over on Ventus. We'll expound on his item choice in a bit. Stabes is definitely going to lose his life. There goes a Ravage, catching two. Scrat is going to lose his life. The arrow being disjointed by the Yule Scepter. There goes a Mystic Flare. We've got the Epicenter Blink Burrow Strike coming out from Zeke, and just like that. And he even commits a Chronosphere as he dies. So that's 4 kills going the way of Ventus Pro, and now they know that the Chronosphere is down, and Scrat's going to lose his life to a Gush. Oh, Vivid may just fall as well as the clap catches him. Oh, looks like Vivid's gonna fall. And there we go. He's gone. It's another 5-man wipe. And just like that, they called GG.
is called.
Goodness.
Okay, the answer to that question was it only gets picked up in 3.2% of Juggernaut games.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Should I still expound on why he chose for that item, or should we just give a
I can
synopsis?
understand why. I'm not so sure it was the best item when they needed that damage from
Yeah.
him. You know.
Yeah, no, fair
They
enough.
didn't need the survivability.
wouldn't
They
get the
needed the
damage.
damage.
He wasn't gonna get the damage anyway. He wasn't getting any form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if BKB would have helped that much anymore. Anyway, though.
Okay. In any case, this game was down to one team needing to to go aggressively on the other team, and it also hinged on one team making sure that they don't lose the early laning phase too badly. And Ventus Pro, they had a lineup that was geared towards massive amounts of aggression and very early aggression. They had the Sand King, and I mean, fair enough, they went into dual lanes early on, and then they obviously swapped over. But the nice thing about what Ventus Pro had is the moment they got their core items, being the blink daggers, it meant they could start moving around the map and causing havoc. And once that paid off, Tidehunter got to a point where you can't kill him unless you focus too much on him. And if you're focusing too much on him, you're missing out on the Brewmaster. You're missing out on the Sand King with his Epicent. I mean, you look at him, he hasn't got a kill, but he's sitting there with 25 assists. That man played his Sand King down to a T. He had it down to a science. And the Chain Frost coming out from Lich as well on the follow-up. So pretty much everyone from Ventus Pro, they played the team fights down to a science. And essentially BzK Gaming had no answer for that, because their lineup needed to, at the very least, secure some farm. I mean, fair enough, Faceless Void needed obviously to get the Chronosphere, and then he would work pretty well with the Skyreth Mage and the Death Prophet, but it just wasn't enough.
Anyway, guys, this is a best of 2 competition, so we will be going into game 2. Come join us there. See you guys now.
MSI beat it, folks. MSI beat it.
What a game! What a game!